Yo, what is up, guys? Okay, so the new Twisted Puppets pack dropped. I've been seeing actually a trend of like a lot of YouTubers who end up playing the game for a bit, they grind it out, and they eventually just leave.
From well before release, a staple gameplay feature of Deepwoken was its free-form progression, allowing the player to complete their build while interacting with a sprawling overworld and all of the players that inhabited it alongside you. There was a sense of adventure and belonging, as if your progression and the interactions with this world mattered and changed the way that the game played. No one playthrough was ever the same, and that lended itself to creating incredibly nostalgic moments for myself and many others in the community. Along the way, however, it feels like the magic and wonder died. The world feels empty and hollow compared to before. And while you may be inclined to blame nostalgia for my feelings, give me the opportunity to explain that this feeling of emptiness, this loneliness in the world, happened by design. Month after month, the developers increase the XP gain and make it easier than ever to progress, yet the community never seems happy. It always feels like something is missing or that it's just taking too long. And that is because Deepwoken as a game has lost sight of its core mission. The fun and magic of Deepwoken was always in its organic player interactions. Even after the world had been explored and the mysteries had been solved, there was still endless fun and exciting moments that came from progressing and interacting with the players around the map. A great example of this would be in the success of a progression YouTuber, Mosquito. People love the interactions he and his friends have with one another and other players as they explore the map, as they live in the world. It's simple psychology, really. If we see someone having fun on the game, we're more motivated to then go and play the game ourselves. Unfortunately, as time wore on, progression, the act of exploring and interacting with this magic and mystic world, became a placeholder, a chore that must be completed before playing the new, rewarding content. The developers, with the Verse 2 update and onward, have prioritized instanced content over fleshing out the world, and by doing so, have abandoned what made the game so fun in the first place. I quote Steve Jobs in saying, "The journey is the reward." Progression and the unpredictable moments that come with it is the game of Deepwoken. That is the essence of the game. Not Chime, not Conquest, not Layer 2, the exploration of a world alongside your friends and fellow players that is never once the same is what made this game a cult classic. With the current direction of the game, however, all of the rewarding content and most exciting content is locked behind a glass ceiling, so to speak. If you want to perform in Chime and master the game's PvP, you must have a finished, min-maxed build with everything perfected down to the stat number. If you want to farm Hell Mode in Layer 2 for rare and valuable items and master the PvE of this game, you must have a finished PvE build tailored to surviving the high damage mobs you'll encounter. This gameplay cycle is only further exacerbated by the introduction of the Diluvian mechanism and Conquest, both of which are closed lobby instanced content. With so many players rushing to finish a build so that they can go and actually play this instance content, there are far fewer players around the world to interact with organically and explore the map with. Simultaneously, when all the content you want to be enjoying is only accessible once you've finished your build, the actual process of doing so becomes subconsciously boring and tedious. Even the smallest things will seem like terrible setbacks or outrageous when making a build isn't even what you want to be doing in the first place. You are no longer a player in a much bigger story. Every island you visit, every mob you fight, every player you befriend or fight is just one extra annoyance standing in the way of you finishing your build so you can then go and play that instance content where most of the player base now spends their time. I hope that one day this push towards isolated, instanced content is relaxed and world events brings back that magic to the overworld and the depths. Deepwoken is nothing like we were promised or delivered on release. The devs have long struggled with their creative direction in this project. Should Deepwoken be a serious, hardcore roguelike like their previous title, Rogue Lineage, or should it be something entirely new, a casual PvE experience set in a fantasy world? It's clear that the past year has been spent pursuing the latter at the cost of years of development that went into creating the former. The identity of the game is constantly shifting, and many older players feel jostled by this change, by this shift away from the core vision that we were promised. But the numbers don't lie. Deepwoken is as popular as ever and is only set to shoot higher. Unfortunately, I am left wondering, what else will have to be abandoned from the core vision in the pursuit of popularity?